Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel. If you're new, I'm Nyx with Chromate's Apothecary, and today I'm bringing you a tarot pick card reading where we are going to find out exactly how it is that people perceive you and their opinions of you. So what I'd like you to do is take a moment to see the deck that I have laid out before you and the crystals upon it. And starting on the far left side with this yellow adventurine, this is going to be representing group number 1. Then we have this pink crystal quartz representing group number 2. Then beside that, we have this raw natural clear quartz representing group number 3. And lastly, we have the sunstone representing group number 4. So if you need to, take a moment to pause the video and then go with whichever crystal you resonate with the most, whichever one is catching your eye. And when you've made your decision, head on down to the description box below and click on the timestamp that corresponds with the group that you chose. And remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more tarot pick a card readings in the future, and also to join the Crow Coven. I will see you guys in your reading. Hello, group number 1, and welcome to your reading all about how it is that people perceive you. So we're going to go into your reading kind of snooping around and getting the overall feel on people's opinions about you today. So starting off, I'm going to set this aside and we're first going to discuss this yellow adventurine. So what I'm getting from this gemstone here is that you are someone who has this very warm and vibrant energy about you. You're someone who people can go to for advice because you have a very good and easy time when it comes to dealing with emotions and communicating your needs. And people can really see that in you, and they are taking that opinion that they have of you and they're using it as a way to basically just like hold these really happy memories about you, is because they see you as somebody that like you are their go-to advice person. You are the person that they can vent to, and you always come back with these really clever and very insightful things that make them realize that their situation wasn't as hard as they thought it was. That's the clear first message that I'm getting for you guys. So we're going to start this off a little bit differently. With these cards here, I have separated them into 3 different piles that I'm going to pull one per pile. This first one is dealing with zodiac signs. And with this one here, this could be either your like sun sign, or it could be your moon or rising sign that is really coming through and showing it off to the people around you, or it could be that these traits are ones that people around you really see as kind of your mainstay. So for group 1, how do people perceive them? We are seeing Pisces coming out. So with Pisces here, it says imaginative, empathetic, and adaptable. And Pisces, in being a water sign, they also deal heavily with things of the water nature, such as emotions. So how we were discussing earlier with your gemstone, and how you have a hold on your emotions, you have this ability to really breeze through things dealing with emotions. Pisces also have that ability because they deal a lot with this dreamy aspect of theirs, this very natural settling into emotions, that they have this unique point of view when it comes to emotions. They approach it in a much softer way than other people may, and they're not ones that typically go for tough love. They're more of the I'm going to lead with my heart and go with how I feel on situations. People around you see you as being very imaginative and very empathetic and very adaptable. So for those traits that we're seeing there, is that you are someone who loves to dabble in some form of art. You love to share your love and your ability to really connect with people on an emotional level. And also when you come across problems or you come across, let's say, certain situations, you can see yourself as easily being a cog where you can work with that situation a lot easier than maybe other people who are inflexible. You can go with the flow and really bring about this ease when it comes to holding yourself in all of these different situations. And then in this next pile here, let's go through and feel out what it is that group 1 is associated with. We are seeing crown, which says connected and elevated, and you have this little unicorn on here. So people see you as being either I'm seeing connected as in being very connected with other people. Perhaps you have a fairly large networking group, or you are connected in the way of you're kind of in the know. So you're the person that other people go to because you know a person who knows this person who can do this, like how I was mentioning networking, or you know what's going on. So people around you see you as somebody who really has the ability to tap into things that maybe they can't. Also with elevated is people see you as someone who you really know what you're about and how you're going to go about things. You aren't someone who dabbles in like how there's different levels to a person where they could be kind of running their life on a really low frequency or someone who's running their life on a higher frequency. We're seeing this in elevated that they see you as somebody who has this higher frequency level where you have gone through a lot of things in life that has guided you to this higher level. And it's not that they see it as you looking down on them, though some people might. I'm seeing this more as they look up to you and they really see you as someone who they should strive to be like, which is like an amazing, beautiful thing to want. And then lastly, we have citrine here, and this one shows on the card abundance. The other thing with citrine that I always love pointing out is that it always reminds me of like positivity and happiness, because citrine is just such a lovely, like bright, beautiful crystal that people see you as not only bright and beautiful, but also very, very positive. And obviously with abundance, they see you as somebody who you have a lot. You have a lot, whether it means in the way of materialistically, or that you just are so full of love, and especially toward your friends, they see you as someone who has a lot of love to give, and that you are very much just like overall, just like you just kind of have it all, is just the phrasing that I keep getting in my mind. So after those, we are going to go into the main part of your reading. So for group number 1, I would love to see what it is that people around them think about them. What are their opinions, their perception of this person? Firstly, we have the 9 of Swords in the reverse position. Then we have 7 of Wands that fell out directly afterward. Then we have the 7 of Swords coming out. The Ace of Wands in the reverse position. And lastly, we have the 8 of Wands. All right. So what I am seeing here, starting out with the 9 of Swords, in the reverse position, we are seeing someone who is going through a very harsh and hard time. So it almost feels like this is kind of a newer feeling to me. It's maybe been under the surface for some time, but it's become maybe more apparent to those around you. And this isn't to make you guys feel nervous or afraid, but in this card, this deals with a sense of hopelessness, a sense of depression, or just overall turmoil. So people in your life are seeing you as maybe not quite as positive or upbeat as you possibly have been in the past. They're starting to notice that you are on edge a lot more, and it's possible that there's a reason behind that. It could be that maybe you have gone through something recently that has caused you to feel a little bit more out of your element. Or it could be just a certain person in particular only sees this one side to you. And because they only ever really hear about you when things are going bad, they're having this perception of you that you're always sad. Some of the opposites or weaknesses of Pisces, or the downside that sometimes people talk about, is that Pisces can be someone who is seen as overly emotional or manipulative in the way that they can sometimes come across as martyrs, or feel like they're playing like this game where they're like, I'm the victim in all of these things. And when that comes out, there are people in your life who might only see that one side to you, especially when it comes to things like social media. If you're somebody who's only ever posting when you're upset about something, there are going to be people who think, wow, like they're really upset all the time, and like, is there anything ever like good that's coming to this person? So this isn't like about you in the way of like how you're actually feeling. For some people, it might be, but for others, again, this is how people are seeing you. So maybe just be a little bit more conscious when it comes to when you're presenting yourself to people around you. How you word things is very important, and also letting people see all sides of you. So not taking to social media when you're only upset, because then people around you are gonna think that that's all that you are. But everybody is layered and everybody's different. So there's going to be more messages, and some that are more positive as well. So in the Seven of Wands here, we are seeing this need for really persevering and really pushing through something. So again, it feels like a newer thing. This can be dealing with some sort of challenge or some sort of like competition that's going on. So I'm really seeing this as you have possibly gone through something in the more recent past that is causing this to be more apparent. And so people are seeing that you're having to push through something. So for some people, I'm getting this feeling of some sort of health complication. And that is why you come across as maybe depressed or overly emotional or something to people, is because you are posting about some issues with your medical history and the challenges that you're going through, but you are persevering, you are recovering or trying to take steps toward recovery, and people do see that and they do recognize this as something that you're going through. Next, we are seeing in the Seven of Swords, however, that there are some people that believe that you are maybe being a little bit sneaky. I'm not saying that this is what you're doing, but you could possibly be lying about some things. You could be doing things to get away with something because you know that people don't have the full truth to it. And people are seeing this from you. it might not even be true. It could possibly be that they are just simply a paranoid person and they think that they've connected these dots and caught you in a lie, and they actually haven't. So it could be that there are some people around you who are thinking a little bit more negatively about you for some reason. But in order to help quell your fears a little bit, this is something where people are always going to have some opinion about you, and whether that is right or wrong isn't really in your control. Like, if you think about it, just even the minimal amounts of information that I have shared in videos, or you listening to me during this reading, you as a viewer could be making an opinion about me that could be completely wrong, but because you don't have the full picture of my life, then I can't really do anything about that, and I can't be worried about that sort of thing. That's the same thing for you. So despite all of this here, you just need to know that somebody having this thought about you in the long run isn't going to affect you. It can make you sad to know that somebody may be thinking this way, but unless you have a friend who is very honest and forward and they're coming to you telling you these things, you will never truly know how people actually think about you. But it is good to kind of see where things might be taken the wrong way, or taken in a way that could be seen as more negative. And you can strive to try to present yourself in a different way that seems more just like honest, or being maybe a little bit more positive, so that other people aren't thinking these things about you. Again, it truly doesn't matter how they think about you, but I understand being curious and wanting to kind of know people's mindsets. Next, we have the Ace of Wands in the reverse position. And this card has this feeling of delay to it, and perhaps a bit on the side of like not having motivation to do things. I'm seeing the stuck energy too of like, you simply can't do things right now. Again, I'm seeing and feeling like there was a recent thing that happened to you that has made it so you haven't been able to be your usual self. And so other people are seeing that and they're taking it almost as like, I'm getting this like word in my head where people like think that you're lazy, but you're actually not. You are simply going through a cycle of needing to rest because of whatever you're going through. But there are people in your life who are almost like holding it against you, or they're treating it in a way where it's like, oh, well, this person doesn't ever do anything because of XYZ. And again, we don't want people like that in our lives. So just be very careful when it comes to what it is that you're sharing out into the world right now. I think especially having a need for some form of protection during this time, it might be good, because we are getting that some people really do see you like this. And yes, we are all multifaceted, so there can be levels of these things, and these things can also be true. So they can feel these things about you while also feeling these things about you. So just keep that in mind and kind of just protect yourself a little bit more during this time, because we are getting this feeling like people may be not necessarily talking behind your back, but I feel like because they don't have the full picture of your life, and they will never have the full picture of your life, they're making these assumptions about you that could be more hurtful, especially if they start treating you in a way that is impacting your friendship. But lastly, we have the Eight of Wands in the upright position. And with this card here, this talks about this sudden and quick change, this speed and movement. So it's funny how these are both next to each other, where this one is this feeling of delay, whereas this one is this fast-paced thing. So it could simply be that one person sees you like this and another person sees you like this. Or it could be that they're thinking that there was this sudden change happening so quickly, where it's like you used to be like really bright and positive and everything, and now suddenly it feels almost like, wow, you did like a complete 180 and now you're a completely different person, and they think that something has changed swiftly, even if it hasn't been. Perhaps you're somebody that does suffer from like chronic depression or anxiety or anything like that, but you tried really hard not to show people, and now they think, oh, well, this was so sudden, but they don't realize it's because you've been like that your entire life, and it's just coming through a little bit more now. Like maybe you felt finally comfortable enough to share with people around you that you've had to deal with these things. And so for them, they think it's a fast thing, but for you, you've had to deal with it. So that's kind of the vibe I'm getting outright, is that I feel like whoever, if you were thinking about a certain person, or if you're just wondering in general for people around you, I think surface level people see you like this as well, is that people may think that you're a very positive, bright, happy person who has a lot of connections. You're very imaginative and creative. But then when you get to this deeper level here, it's almost giving me this message of like, this is the light version of yourself, and then here's like the dark, like shadow version kind of thing, the things that are hidden underneath that people wouldn't know unless they knew you a bit more. And this is how people are seeing you, how it's coming across. Not that they're correct by that, but just simply that this is how it's coming across. Next, I'm going to shuffle this deck and pull 2 cards for group number 1. What messages do we have for group 1? The first one we have is the Bobcat and Blackthorn, and it says patience. So in general, you come across to someone who is very patient. You don't have to rush things. You're more down to earth and willing to put in the time and energy it takes to get something done, instead of rushing for it. I'm also seeing patience as something like when it comes to becoming your friend, you have to have a lot of, like, they have to have a lot of patience in working with you. Maybe you are a little bit more on the introverted side. Maybe it's hard for you to open up to people around you. So it takes a little bit longer for you to feel a connection with a person and to really feel like you can be fully invested and reveal things about you that you wouldn't want to share to just anybody. I'm also getting this feeling of they feel like you are there for like the long haul kind of thing, if that makes sense. Is like they don't see you as just a one and done kind of friend, like like I get my information from them and then I never talk to them again kind of thing. Is like the people who really care about you put in the time and energy in order to make this friendship work. So if you are thinking about somebody down here who might be having these thoughts about you, and they don't try to put in any time or energy into your friendship, it could be that they are people that just simply aren't going to be in your life for much longer, or nor do they really need to be, is what we're thinking. Next, for group 1, we have the Bat and Hellebore. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce that, so I'm going to have to look that up later. But in this card here, we see the word intuition. So you are somebody who is able to follow your intuition. You're able to feel connected to yourself and know exactly what it is that you need to do in order to get things done. You listen to yourself a lot, and because of that, people see you as someone who is very, you have a lot of integrity to your being, and they know that you are someone who doesn't need to seek advice. You maybe do a lot of introspection and do a lot of soul searching, where you come to your conclusions instead of going to other people and asking for advice, because you do trust yourself enough to follow that path. And if this is because you are somebody who does struggle with some sort of like mental health issue or even a physical issue, it's possible that you simply know what it means to have to deal with these things and how to cope with these things going on in your life. So people see you as stronger because you know how to pace yourself and you know the things that you need to do in order to make your life work. So people are seeing that you do put that work in. And then lastly, I'm going to pull one of these ones as any final messages for group 1. We have, when would now be a good time? So I'm taking this as you come across as someone who lives in the now. You try really hard not to cling on to the past, nor worry so much about the future. So you feel very present. And what I mean by that is maybe you don't seem to share your dreams and goals with people around you because you like to keep those close to your heart. So people see you as someone who, again, lives in the now. I'm also getting this feeling like you are somebody that when you hang out with somebody, instead of allowing yourself to get distracted with like your phone or anything else, you like put that away and you pay very close attention to them. Like almost like the feeling of like you think it's rude to be on your phone when you're hanging out with somebody because you're not giving them that undivided attention. And so it's very much gave me this feeling of like when you are face to face, you clearly show interest in other people. And so that in the now is very strong and forward. Also, I'm seeing this as you maybe are uncertain of your future. So that's why you are so present in your now. And that is coming across. So other people are seeing that as well. And then the last little things I'm going to do are I'm going to pull a couple of tiles, and whatever I think of first is going to be kind of what they think of you. I've pulled 4. So A, I immediately thought of ambitious. Then we have you. Obviously, the very first word that came to my head was umbrella. And when I like saw the U and thought of like the shape of like an umbrella. So like this upside down U kind of shape. I saw it almost as if things like roll off of you. So you just allow these things to happen. And again, you live in the now. You just let it kind of flow off of you. Next, we have Q, going with queen on there. So we are seeing this feeling of someone sees you as very queenly energy. Maybe you come across as very reserved and almost like royal, and they kind of see you in a leadership position is what I'm getting from that, especially seeing it like QU right here. That's a lot of why like it pulled that QU for me, pulled that queen. Somebody who is very strong and intuitive again, how we have intuition here, somebody who listens to themselves. And lastly, we have E. The very first thing that came to my mind in here was the word everything. So they could be seeing you as someone who, this could be somebody who sees you as their everything. Maybe they are struggling with some negative thoughts though about certain situations that have happened. but I do deep down see them as caring and loving you deeply, if that makes sense. We are all complicated beings and we have these multiple facets to our personalities and to our thought processes. So even if somebody believes this about you and this about you at the same time, it could be that they're trying to come about it as a sense of, in the way of like a loving perspective versus something that is harsh and like, oh, you're only ever depressed and I think you're doing something stealthy and sneaky kind of thing. Like, it doesn't have to be that dramatic. So I wanted to reassure you a bit more there, is that I really think that if this is about a certain person, they really do feel like they care and love you very, very deeply too. That isn't going to be everybody in your life. The other thing that I got from this E was empathy again. So somebody who is in touch with their emotions, who's very empathetic for other people around them as well. And lastly, I am going to roll this astro dice a few times. It has some zodiac signs on here. So this could be the sun, moon, or rising of the people in your life that feel this way about you, is the way that I'm going about this. So with the first roll here, we have Virgo. So there could be a Virgo in your life who is feeling this way about you. We also have Sagittarius coming out. And lastly, we have Libra. So I'll set that down right there. And just to recap a bit, most people see you as a very imaginative, empathetic kind of person, someone who is very elevated and able to really work with your intuition, someone who is generally very positive and very abundant in your life, whether that's having things in a materialistic sense, or you just have all of the things that you need in order to have a good life. They see those things from you. But on the more negative or darker aspects, they also believe that you are maybe going through a very hard time. It could be that they are recognizing that you have struggles that you go through, and they're trying hard not to only see this as like your defining personality trait or something. They can see that you have a hard life and that you're going through some struggles. They feel like you're persevering and that you are trying to push through, but there are a lot of challenges in your life. And on some level, they may believe that you are trying to either get away with something or you're doing something in a sneaky or manipulative way that could be their own opinion that has no basis, but it is just how they're feeling in the current moment. And then next here we have this feeling of, in the Ace of Wands reverse, this kind of like delayed momentum, this like lack of motivation. So maybe in your current moment, you're not able to do much. So they're kind of seeing and feeling that from you. But lastly, we have in the Eight of Wands that there is this sudden change. Either they suddenly believe that this came about, like your personality suddenly switched to something else, or because they got on a deeper level with you, they realized everything wasn't sunshine and rainbows, and now they're having to deal with the more human aspects, the more deeper levels of our lives, and they're kind of seeing this as like, oh, whoa, this is such a sudden thing, I can't believe that this is the same person kind of thing. But just know that everybody is deep, everybody has these layers to them, and the people who are willing to stay there, be patient with us, and stick with us are going to be worth that journey. They see you again as someone who's very intuitive, and you are able to believe in yourself and take your own advice when it comes to things. And also lastly, that you are someone who is very present and you are very focused in giving them your undivided attention when it comes to their matters and helping them. So thank you guys so much for getting this far in your reading. If you liked this reading or it resonated with you, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Tarot Pick a Card readings in the future and to join the Crow Coven. And also, if it's safe for you to do so, in the comments, let me know if this resonates with you, if you really feel like this could be the perceptions of people around you. If you believe that there may be somebody in your life who's thinking these things about you, and kind of give me some insight on if this is something that you believe you may have a discussion about, or if you're just going to let things pan out as they are. Again, you can't change anyone's opinion of you. You can only do things for yourself, and people will take it positively if they want to take it positively. Anyway, thank you guys so much for getting to the end of your reading, and I will see you guys in the next video. Hello, group number 2, and welcome to your video all about how it is that people perceive you. I hope you've been having a great week, and thank you so much for joining me in today's video. To get started, we are going to talk a little bit about this rose quartz that we have here. So this pink quartz that we are seeing, this is giving me feelings of affection and of love in particular. So I'm getting this very soft, almost like innocent and gentle vibe from this crystal here. And so that's how I believe people in your life kind of view you. They see you as someone who is soft, maybe perhaps a little bit on the more soft-spoken side of things, and also just somebody who they can really confide in and feel just safe with. I'm going to do things a little bit differently by pulling 3 different cards from 3 different piles of this deck. This first one is dealing with zodiac signs. So this could be your sun, moon, or rising, or it could just be the traits that you really present forward toward people and the ones that they believe you hold onto the strongest. So we have Aquarius, and in Aquarius, this card here says visionary, inventive, and eccentric. So you are somebody who definitely isn't afraid to kind of show exactly who you are. You are very much someone who likes to really plan things out, and really, I'm feeling like this connection with people because Aquarius also tends to deal with like sometimes a lot of people who are into activism or being very into like human rights and things like that, connections with people. So seeing that empathy, seeing that softness from the rose quartz there is that you're somebody that likes to connect on a deeper level with people and try to help them with their problems. And also someone who's very inventive, so you are not afraid of doing things in a different way to find the end result of your problem. So it could just be that if you are not an Aquarius, this is how people are seeing you. They're seeing you as someone who's different. You flow in a different way than other people normally do. You're visionary and very inventive. Next, we are going to pull a card from here. What traits do we have that other people see for group 2? We have throat, which says truth and communication. So you come across as someone who you seem very honest, and you speak this truth to people around you, and they are able to recognize it, and they do believe and hold you in this high regard that whatever you say like is gospel kind of thing. Also communication, that perhaps you're just very talkative. Maybe you have a larger social group, or you're the person who can just really hold a conversation. I'm also seeing in throat here is that's how they kind of associate you. So they always associate with you as you are somebody who talks. So perhaps you talk for other people. Maybe you stand up for people a lot and they can recognize that quality in you. I'm also seeing, combined with how gentle and affectionate this quartz is, I'm almost seeing it as if people believe you have a very beautiful voice. Maybe they compliment you on your voice, or perhaps you speak in a way that is so just really well polished and very confident that they've commented on that before, they've complimented you on that before. And then lastly, what is the last few traits for group 2? We have watermelon tourmaline, which says heart healing. So you are very much someone that they can go to whenever they are having struggles with things. If they need advice, they love coming to you because you know all the right things to say. And just overall, we're seeing this very gentle and soft energy about you. So they see you as someone that they can feel very comfortable and at home to have these deeper discussions with, especially there with that heart healing. So let's go ahead and move deeper into your reading. So this could be some things that they feel on a deeper level about you, or perhaps these are the traits that you display at the forefront, and then the ones here may be ones that people really don't know about you until they have become a lot closer with you. The first one we have here is the sun in the reversed position. Then we have the emperor. So two very powerful energies starting out. Then we have the king of swords in the reversed position. The tower. And then one last one. The ace of pentacles in the reverse position. Okay, so starting this out, we're seeing in the sun reversed that this is kind of, this could be indicating a temporary moment of you not being like on your A game. Like you are maybe going through a point of depression. There could be a reason where maybe something has happened recently that has kind of taken your shine away, and it has made you feel a little bit more, I'm getting this feeling of like loneliness, like isolation, like you feel like you can't be your usual like social talkative self, and you have to take time to pull away to be a bit more restricted and quiet. And that might not even be true, but this is what other people are seeing you as. So this is what is being presented to them, is that you are kind of seem like you might be going through this period of sadness for the time being. This can also mean a lack of success. So it could be that maybe you have set out to better yourself or get a new job, or you have tried to just push yourself in a different life projection, and the people around you aren't seeing the progress that you're making in that time. And because there isn't an end goal or an outcome that you have reached that is like very, very obvious for people to see, they're seeing you as this, like, you're in a point where you're not currently succeeding, but they don't know everything that's going on in your life. They don't have this magic ability to understand the ins and outs of everything that you've done. So they truly can't know the journey that you're currently going on. I also still see the sun as a fairly positive card. It is the most positive and favorable card in all of tarot when it's upright. And so when it's reversed, I still see it with like dreads of that, like initial meeting. So there's still a level of positivity. Maybe you're still very smiley and happy, and maybe you are communicative, but it's just that you've kind of leaned into this point in your life where you are either thinking a little bit more realistically, or some things have happened recently that have caused you to just kind of falter a little bit, and the cracks are kind of showing, and people are starting to notice that about you. But overall, with the Emperor, people are still seeing you as someone who has a lot of structure, and like you have everything together. And it could just be that you are very good at putting on this mask where it's very hard for people to be able to see beyond that. And so they're seeing you as someone who's a leader and someone who is the authority when it comes to situations. You are the person that they go to when they want to know certain things, and you're not afraid to help them out of their situations, even if you're currently going through your own problems. However, also with the Emperor, this could indicate that it typically means like a father figure kind of thing. So they either see you as someone who has like dad energy, or someone who maybe you present more masculinely than other people do. You could be male identifying, or you could just have more masculine traits, because we have a balance of both masculine and feminine traits within us. So it could just be that you very much present yourself. Maybe you are very forward or very, very confident, these things that we equate to masculinity, that they still, they see you as holding these things. Because again, we're seeing a king right next to the Emperor. And this king, however, is in the reverse position. And when he's in reversed, we're seeing this moment where people could possibly be seeing you as being a little manipulative. It might be that this is not how you're being. It could just be how again, this is about how other people are perceiving you. So you could be doing things or not sharing enough about your life to them because you're trying to protect yourself, that it's making you seem like you are trying to get away with something, and that you are using your ability to talk to really turn the tables on other people, because we're seeing the throat chakra above it. And also swords deal with mental things. So this would be something like you twisting people's words on them, or you not being fully truthful about something. So maybe somebody called you out on something and you were like, well, that's not how I meant it. And whether you are lying or not about that, people are seeing you as someone who's possibly lying about a certain situation. And it could be that you're not trying to be this way, but just know that people are going to have an opinion about you. And unless you care to try to clear the air about that, at the end of the day, that is their opinion, and it truthfully doesn't matter. Obviously, if you want to work on a friendship and you want things to work, or a relationship with a partner or something, this may be a point where, if it is something that you know that you struggle with, that you might want to hone a little bit of time toward that. However, with you having the sun in reversed, you need to first worry about yourself before you worry about other people, is what I'm seeing. So people are going to think what they're going to think. I said about this in group 1 as well, is that everybody has an opinion about people, and you could be, as a viewer, forming an opinion about me simply because of how I speak or the things that I've shared in videos that could be completely wrong from the reality of who I actually am. But because we don't know one another, and because you are never going to fully know me, I can't control how it is that you think about me. So you, again, can't control fully how people think about you. You can do your best to try to ease that and work through things. But again, at the end of the day, as long as you are trying not to hurt people and you are being truly yourself, then that is all that truthfully matters. We're seeing in the tower that people around you believe that there has been this very sudden change in your life. And again, this might be why there's this temporary depression here in the sun reversed, is because the tower tends to be an external event that has happened that has changed us suddenly. So an extreme upheaval of our normal day-to-day life. This could be something like a death in the family. This could be a job loss. This could be some sort of mental turmoil that has really brought about this change that people are seeing. And they recognize that you have changed in their eyes. Not that this is something that is going to come, but that this has already happened. I'm seeing this as this is just sort of more indication that people around you know that you're different and they know that you're acting differently, which it's good to know that maybe people perceive us in this way, is that they can tell that something is different from our usual selves, because then maybe you don't feel as much pressure to have to tell people because it is more obvious. But it can also be very scary because sometimes we like to hold on a mask and be like, no, everything's peachy keen, like everything's fine. But deep down, we are really struggling with things and we're not trying to let people see this about us. But one of the positive things in the tower is that this gives us a new chance to rebuild our lives. And it also gives us the chance to really be able to recognize and realize these like really intense revelations about ourselves. So when this tower moment happens, you get to see who in your life is worth keeping and who you would rather not be in your life. You kind of can tell who is trying to fight for keeping you in their life versus people who are like, okay, well, I'm done trying to be their friend kind of thing. So just know that people can tell that things are going on, whether you want them to or not, is what I'd say. And lastly, we are seeing in the Ace of Pentacles here is that some people believe that you could have possibly had this like lost opportunity where there was a chance for you to fix something, maybe a chance for you to avoid this tower moment, and you didn't go that path, you went a different path. They also may believe that you have this lack of foresight or ability to plan things. So again, this is their own opinion, not that it's true for you, but it could mean that you do struggle with perhaps like with this tower moment is you took a path that was possibly easier versus something that could be a lot harder, but it would guarantee these results. And because you went one way, you lost out on the other path because you thought in the moment that that was what was right for you. And people around you are like, well, why didn't they just do that? Like, yeah, it would have been a lot more work, but why did they try this easier path? Again, that's their opinion. You can't go back from what has happened. You can only learn from whatever mistakes and go forward. Or something like, it's a little bit harder when it comes to something like losing a family member, because you obviously have no control when it comes to that sort of thing, or any sort of loss in the way of death, that maybe people are seeing it as being like, well, you knew they were getting older, or you knew that this person like was not doing well, so why is it? And that's a very harsh and hard thing for people to be thinking. So I would hope that people aren't thinking this about you, but just keep that in mind when you are interacting with people, that there's always a possibility that somebody could be thinking like, I don't understand why they're processing grief this way when they could be doing this. Like, you have to process grief in the way that works best for you, because it does not look the same from person to person. So don't let that hold you back or think that you are doing anything wrong, is what I wanted to say for that, because they may process grief in a completely different way. And even if it isn't losing someone, like a loved one, it could even be just like losing a job or something, and you could still be grieving that. And maybe they're thinking, well, why don't you just get a new job or something like that? You have to do things your own way before you can even worry about a new job. So don't worry, just go at your own pace. And again, don't worry about the darker aspects of how people feel about you, unless they're coming to you and trying to work with you and bring to light why they're seeing these things. When it comes to that point and someone's coming about it in a place of love instead of attacking you, know that they're doing it because they're trying to fight for you guys' relationship or friendship, and try to work with them on that aspect. But again, at the end of the day, you know what's right for you, and you have to stay true to yourself. So I'm going to pull a few more cards. So for people viewing group 2, how do people perceive them? The first one we see is the deer and oat, which says healing. So this is great, is that people either see you, again, that heart healing card that we have here with the watermelon tourmaline, they are seeing you as someone who, again, has this very healing energy. There's something about you that feels very, like, just comforting. And like, you make a lot of time for this person, and you do a lot of, you do things for a lot of people in your life, and they can recognize that. It can also mean healing in the sense of, if you have gone through something, this tower moment that has pulled a lot from your life, people are seeing that you are currently healing from this situation. Whatever it is, those who are closest to you in your life can tell that you are slowly able to process this grief, and you are able to make more positive steps for yourself. I always see deer as being very just like pure and innocent as well. So maybe people do believe that you have a more like youthful side to you. Perhaps people tell you a lot that you seem very young for people who are being a little bit meaner. Maybe they say that you're childish, kind of thing. It could be that, but you almost don't take it as like an insult. You're kind of like, yeah, well, I like being young. So it could be that sort of thing, is I'm getting this like pure, innocent kind of vibe from you. And next we have the bat and hellebore, I believe, or hellebore. I'm not sure, but I'm going to say hellebore. I actually had this for group number 1 as well, pulled it as the second card for them. So intuition. So you are somebody who, you very much live and breathe and believe in yourself. And that is something that people can see. They know that you are going to be the person who tries to stick by yourself as best as possible. Like, you back yourself as much as possible, because you know that the only advice that you're going to take is going to be your own. So you almost see like, what's the point in asking other people about things, because I'm just going to do what I want anyway. It's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. But people do see you as a firm believer of listening to yourself and going about things your way. And then the last little message that I would like to pull is in here. The other thing, I want to say one last thing before I flip this card over. I didn't say this for group 1, I just thought about it now, is that with the bat, in the fact that it hangs upside down, it's giving me this like hanged man feeling, where you are seeing things you see things from a different perspective, and you are able to kind of see things just differently from the people around you, and that is something that people see you as being good at too, and like a trait that they see it in you a lot. Oh my gosh, the card that I pulled here is absolutely nothing, which could be so mean. But the way I take this card anytime I see it and pull it is that I see it as when I believe in something like the void, I believe all sorts of possibilities can come from that. So when you see a blank canvas or like the vastness of dark, there's so much that can come out of it. So I see this as, if you want to be really negative, you can obviously take this as there are people in your life that just, they don't really think about you. And those could be people that you just simply do not want in your life. Maybe you just have so many friends, and there are some people who just like having you around for very surface level reasons, and they don't want you around for when you go through things. And you can recognize, hey, like this person doesn't want me, so like why should I put effort into this friendship? And you can focus on people that actually care about you. But on the more positive way, and the way that I like to normally see this card, is that a lot of people see a lot of potential in you, and they see you almost like a blank canvas where you could go about doing anything because you have either so many skills or just this ability to be uniquely yourself, or somebody who is so healing that you really have like so much about you that you could pull from in order to express yourself, in order to go forward in the future. And they really see you as somebody who, again, you have the ability to think up all of these dreams for the future, and that you can achieve those things. And then I'm going to pull a few of these tiles here, and whatever word comes to me first are going to be the words that I believe people feel about you. Let's get a couple. Oh, sorry, I gotta set it down here. Okay, so the first one that I have coming out, oh my gosh, so many just spilled everywhere. Let's pull this one here. We have E, and for E, this one kind of like flew out from the side. And so the first thing I got from this was like explosive, because like all of the tiles were like flying everywhere. So I'm seeing this as having a very like explosive personality, in the sense that like you're not afraid to be you, and you're not afraid of like making a mess, making a scene in order to be known, kind of thing. So I'm really seeing that as people think like you're very spontaneous, you're fun to be around. Also, E for extroverted, you are an extroverted person, and you like to let people know that you're there. W, the very first thing I think about when I see this is this watermelon tourmaline card that we pulled. That heart healing energy. So somebody who is very able to just give great advice and give such a healing energy about them. C, we have here, I got cat immediately. I don't know why, if it's just because I love cats, or it could be maybe you own a cat and people like kind of equate you to cat because you have one in your life now, or you've had one in your life for so long that they always immediately, I don't know why I wanted to say imaginatively, immediately like think about you when they think about cats. And then last one, we have Q. There's a couple of Q words that I would go with. One, I don't know if I can say it on YouTube. I have to imagine I could say it in this video, but I got queer. So either queer in the sense of being a little bit weird, a little bit on the weird side, or perhaps queer as in you are actually part of the LGBT community in general, which I am too, so hella. But yeah, it could be just possibly that. Or it could also come across as queen, was actually another one that I pulled for group number 1 as well. And we did see this, like how we saw in the Emperor, we saw this like regal feeling about you, this like boss leader type energy about you in the Emperor. Is with Q and with Queen, we are seeing again that sort of like regal, that leadership position kind of thing. This could just be that people really go to you and look up to you because you are just so like out there, you're so extroverted or so like demanding in your presence being known that they obviously automatically see you. The other thing that I'm getting to is like it could just be that you have a very like dominant personality. So maybe you liking to speak your mind, they're seeing you as somebody to listen to, kind of thing. That's the feeling that I was getting for those ones. And then lastly, I would love to roll this astro dice for you. So the zodiac symbols that are on here, this could be the sun, moon, or rising sign of the people who are thinking this about you during this time. So the very first one that we are seeing is Cancer. Then next, we have the Capricorn. And with Capricorn too, it didn't even really roll. It just kind of like dropped. Like, I don't know if you saw that, but it just sort of like fell flat down onto the table. So it could mean more forwardly that a Capricorn is feeling these things about you. And then Capricorn again. So yeah, like how I was mentioning before is that it felt very forward and it felt very sudden. So it could very much be that somebody with Capricorn placements could be really thinking these things about you. And maybe they're trying to understand you a little bit more. And maybe there's things that they need to share with you. Or it could be just somebody that's in your life who has been there for a long time and they know you better than anybody else. And maybe they would be a good person to go to discuss any worries or fears that you have about what's going on in your life. So to recap, you could be an Aquarius, or you could just have this Aquarius energy where you are very visionary. You're an eccentric person who really likes to live as you are. You are very communicative and you use your voice to either speak up for other people, or you do like to be very social and talk a lot. But you have this very heart healing energy about you where people go to you for advice and they know that you are someone that they can confide in when they are struggling with problems. But currently, people are seeing you going through this phase in your life where you could possibly be going through this temporary depression, where you could be having a hard time being your typical, like, positive, successful self. But people do still see you as someone who is a leader. You have this sense of authority about you where you get the job done, and you typically are very structured when it comes to your life. There are some people who could be thinking that you are maybe being a little bit manipulative, especially with your words. You're either twisting people's words in order to fit the bill, or you are using your words to lie about something because you don't want to let them in further into your life. It's like a way for you to protect yourself, and it's making it really hard for you guys to see eye to eye. Not that that is actually happening, but just that people could be perceiving this about you at this time, because we're seeing that you have gone through something in your recent past, within, I'd say, the past couple years, like 1 or 2 years, that something has happened that has really drastically altered how people perceive you. They're seeing something about you. There's been either a loss for some reason, this time where you've needed to grieve, and people are noticing. But the positives of the Tower being that there is this revelation where you're able to build yourself back up again. And lastly, we had in the Ace of Pentacles in the reverse position that people also may think that there was some sort of lost opportunity that you weren't able to grab, or that you're currently not grabbing. It could possibly be that they think that there's something there that you could be doing that could help out your situation a bit more that you're not going towards. So that might be something good to keep in mind. Overall, however, people believe that you have a very healing energy, or that you are healing from whatever this tower moment was. And that, again, you are very tapped into intuition. You're somebody that believes in yourself, and you can listen to yourself when it comes to really anything. And that you are destined for being able to use your blank canvas self, or your void of yourself, to push forth any sort of opportunity for you to grow and expand. So everybody, thank you so much for getting this far in your reading group 2. I hope that this has given you some insight, and that you're able to really be able to help kind of change people's perspectives a little bit if this is not how you want to be viewed. Just give you an idea of how people are feeling about you during this time. Remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Tarot Pick a Card readings in the future, especially if this resonated with you. And just join our Crow Coven already. We would love to see you for more videos. And also, if you feel safe to do so, let me know if there have been any situations recently where you feel like this really hits home, where you feel as if you've had friendships or situations where people have been seeing. I don't want to be super nosy and ask you about like what this tower moment was. Like, I'm a curious person, but I want to be a little tactful, so I don't want to push you to reveal things that you don't feel safe sharing. But just let me know if this has kind of been what you've noticed, and what you have been shown that maybe people think about you. So take care of yourselves. Know that things are temporary, and you are going to be okay in the future, and that overall people do have a very positive feeling for you. Anyway, thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Hello, group number 3, and welcome to your reading all about how it is that other people perceive you. I hope you guys have been doing well, and thank you so much for watching this video today. So what I'd like to talk about first is this raw, clear crystal quartz, and how it is that this relates to you. So with this, I feel like people really see you as someone who is very clear in your intentions. You don't seem like someone who hides things from other people. You're kind of an open book, but you're also very strong. I also believe that people see you as someone who is kind of like a little cheerleader. Like, you are supportive in a way where it feels as if you help boost other people around you. And what I mean by that is, if someone comes to you with an idea, or comes to you with a need for any sort of advice, you're there to really be that support beam for them and try to push them towards their goals. That is the clear messages that I'm getting from that crystal. So we are actually going to get started in your reading with this deck here. I have it separated into 3 different piles. And this first grouping that I have is zodiac signs. So this could be your sun, moon, or rising, or it could be traits that you are showing off pretty predominantly to other people, and this is how others see you. So the first one that we have pulled out is Capricorn. So in Capricorn, it has on here determined, ambitious, and integrity. So it could be that you are giving off some very strong earth sign energy. Perhaps you are a very steady person. You tend to be pretty calm, and again, very, very supportive of other people. With Capricorn, you are someone who is willing to go the distance in order to make things happen. You are very determined and forward when it comes to getting the job done and not being afraid to go down that path. Again, with ambitious, as you have this almost like innate ability to get pointed towards something and then you just go. You are afraid of being held back when it comes to your dreams or wanting to accomplish something. And with integrity, you stay very, very true to your character, almost to the point where you can be like very blunt when it comes to wanting to express certain things, or just you are very, very honest. And so other people around you go to you because you are so honest and stay so true to yourself. With the next grouping, let's see here for group number 3. What message do we have? How do people see them? We have crown. So with crown, we are seeing connected and elevated. So you are someone who, it could mean that you are very grounded, like being connected, you're very grounded, kind of giving off that earth energy again. You could be connected in the sense of you have many connections with many people, or you know how to network, and that is something that other people see in you, is that you are very forward when it comes to making those connections, and you're their like go-to person. So they go to you and you're like, oh, I've got a person that can help you with that, and you can point them in the right direction. And then with elevated, we're seeing I always see this a lot as kind of like there are different frequency levels that you could be running on. So there are people who are lower frequency and people who are higher frequency. And the people in your life perceive you as being on this higher frequency level. They see you as being elevated. They see you as the person who has it all, or they look up to you because you just give off this like role model kind of energy to them. And then lastly, what is the last trait or traits that people give to group 3? We are seeing in smoky quartz, it says protection. So you are someone who, I believe that you are very, I'm getting this feeling like if someone told you a secret, you would like keep it. Like you are very, very much like a safe space to people, or you go out of your way to protect them from things that could hurt them. Like you point them again in the right direction. So if they're like, oh, like I was thinking about like hanging out with this person more, or I really want to date this person, but if they see like red flags, they're not afraid to like tell you. Like you're not afraid to tell them, rather, like you are not afraid to be like, I don't know about that kind of thing, and you look out for other people. We're also seeing this as just overall, you have this sense of safety around you. So maybe you're somebody that doesn't like to take a lot of risks. Like you're ambitious and you're determined to get things done, but they could see you as someone who you don't like to step out of your comfort zone, because you, again, with the integrity, is you know what's good for you, and you don't feel the need to have to put yourself out of your comfort zone, because you're following a path and you feel safe and secure in that path as well. But overall, I am seeing protection as a positive here. So I'm going to go ahead and, sorry, I'm like laughing because I had the deck turned upside down, and on the bottom of the deck is the devil, which the devil is also Capricorn. So you may have really strong Capricorn placements. Let's go ahead and get into the main bulk of your reading. So this is for group number 3. How is it that people see them? What are their opinions of group 3? The first one we have coming out is the King of Pentacles. Then we have 6 of Cups. Next, we're seeing 4 of Pentacles. Again, a lot of strong earth sign. A little bit of water as well so far. Judgment. And one last one, please. For group 3, we have Justice in the reverse position. Okay. So how I'm seeing this, first off, you have probably one of the most favorable outcomes I have seen. In groups number 1 and 2, they kind of had almost like somebody in their life that was thinking a little bit more negatively about them, or people who question their behavior a little bit more. But with this is just so forward, and just people really see you as someone who, like, your reputation is just kind of like squeaky clean is the vibe that I'm initially getting from seeing this. We're seeing in the King of Pentacles here that people see you as someone who is very much in control. You have a lot of discipline, so you aren't spontaneously doing something. You have this path that you have followed. You have this security about you, again, this protection about you, where you just feel overall very much in tune with yourself, and other people can see how you radiate that. With this being a king as well, I'm getting this feeling of people see you as a leader. Perhaps they see you as someone who is more dominant. Perhaps you have this masculine energy in your life, so you don't have to be like male identifying, because we have both inside of us. But perhaps you just have these traits that are deemed more like naturally masculine. And so you kind of display these traits a lot more to people around you. So even if you don't feel that way, other people just inherently see you in this way. Next, we have the Six of Cups, and in this card here, this is very, very like cute card. It is all about like childhood memories. It's about having that whimsy, having that nostalgia factor kind of thing. So it could be in particular that someone who is in your life thinks about you a lot, and there's somebody that has been with you for quite some time. So this could be a childhood friend, or this could even be like a sibling that when they think on you, they think all these things about you, which could be very, very cute to have. And it could be a sense of maybe wanting what you guys had in the past. Maybe you were a little bit closer in the past, and now they're kind of thinking back on it. That, again, that nostalgia factor. The Six of Cups can also be a card talking about reunion, so wanting to come back together to some form of unity that you had in the past. So this could be somebody who is thinking on perhaps better times, or you give so much protection and so much love that perhaps you remind them, and I'm sorry about this, Capricorns who are going to be watching this, you give this person this feeling as if you are a motherly or fatherly kind of person, where they almost see you as a parental unit who knows the right things to say, or just able to give them that sense of security. Next, we have the Four of Pentacles, and in this card here, this is showing once more this sense of stability, security again. So whoever's thinking about you, or the people in your life, they really perceive you as someone who's very secure, very in control of your life, and very much like you are not the person who's going to falter. They definitely see you in high regard, and they always know that you are going to be the person that is in their life that just has things in control, and always knows what to do kind of feeling. So even if you don't feel that way, you don't feel like you're maybe in control of your life, you somehow manage to give off just this really extreme energy to other people, where they're like, no, they know what they're doing. Next, we have Judgment. And in Judgment, this card is about having this ability to tap into your like inner calling. You truthfully listen to yourself, and you are very fair when it comes to listening to yourself. This card can also deal with kind of reaching your highest plane. So people see you as someone who you are going to be able to reach whatever goals you put out there for yourself. You are someone to them who they believe that you can put in the work in order to get any outcome that you want. And some people may see this as almost like an envious sort of trait where they do see you in such control. They see you so with like such high willpower and ability to ground yourself that they may be a little bit nervous when it comes to being around you, because you give off this vibe of being like maybe a bit intimidating. So if anyone has ever told you like, oh, you intimidate me, this could definitely be a little bit indicative that this is your group. And then lastly, we have Justice in the reverse position. And in this card here, this is kind of why I was feeling this little bit of maybe like envious behavior, because this card here can share that there may be a feeling of a little bit of unfairness or even dishonesty. But with everything else in here, you feel like such an honest person. Like how I mentioned in the clear crystal quartz that like you seem to speak the truth. You are like an open book. People can see through you, so they don't see this dishonesty. They see honesty. And Capricorn is like, to me, like anytime I've dealt with a Capricorn, they're very honest about what it is that they mean and what they say. They don't try to have hidden agendas. So for me, this is almost coming out as like someone is maybe projecting onto you a little bit. They're kind of like, how can this person have their stuff together like so well? How can they be this strong? And they're kind of like projecting their insecurities on you just a little bit. And that's where I was getting that sort of envious moment, is I was seeing it in Justice, especially right next to Judgment. These cards give fairly similar vibes to me anytime I see them. So the fact that they're together, it almost is like they're trying to pull away and pick at this Judgment moment here. And also in Justice reverse, this can also mean like a lack of accountability. And that is another thing that I would never, ever equate to an earth sign. Like, I would never equate a lack of accountability to someone who is very determined and just goes on their path and feels so secure in themselves. So this could be just a one-off person that is feeling this way. And I think it's just one of those things to keep in mind, that people are going to have an opinion about you no matter who you are. Like I've used in previous groups, is just because you as a viewer are watching this, you could be forming an opinion about me on how I read this reading and tidbits of information I've given in other readings, and it could be completely wrong or different from who I truly am, but I can't change that and I can't stop you from having an opinion about me. So just know that you keep doing what you're doing, because I feel like most people in your life see you as very strong, very in control, and very much able to accomplish anything. But there might be people out there who are projecting their own insecurities onto you, and for some of you, I'm getting this feeling like somebody is like wishing that you would falter. They're like wishing there was some crack in your armor that they could exploit. So just be careful when it comes to dealing with other people. Know that you are also protected in this moment, and that most people have like the best intentions for you. It's just that some people are just a little envious on how in control you are in your life. So let us continue forward. I would love to pull 2 cards for group number 3 on how people perceive them. This first one we have coming out is the bee and pomegranate, which on here shows productivity. So you are definitely someone who is like nose to the grindstone. You very much are like a busy little bee where you are flitting from one thing to the next to keep yourself busy. Perhaps you own your own business. Perhaps you're trying to own your own business. And you do have this like worker bee mentality where you are really going and putting in a full day's work, and people see you as being very productive and very busy. More for group 3. We also have the turtle and coriander, which shows on the card satisfaction. So it could mean that people are just very, very pleased to know you. They're very happy in the friendship that you guys share. Or it could be just as simple as they see you as someone who's very satisfied with your life, with your work, and that is maybe once more bringing out that sort of envious side from someone. Is from them on the outside looking in. They almost feel like everything is like a little bit too perfect, and they're wondering like how it is that you do it, kind of thing. But for the most part, people do see you as very happy. And again, this could be completely different from how you feel on the inside. Your life could be in shambles, but you are just so strong that you are able to present this like very intensely strong mask of someone who has it put together, that you are fooling the people in your life. And I would hope that that is not the case. I would hope that you are very strong and in control of yourself, and people are just seeing the benefits of all of your hard work, because I believe that you are somebody that really goes for it and is very productive, and that just means that you're able to, at the end of the day, show how happy you are, and other people see it too. And then I'm going to pull a message from here. For group 3, how is it that people perceive them? Oof. This card says, ask yourself, who am I being today? Now recalibrate. So what I'm getting from this card is, for some of you, it could be something as simple as maybe you seem different to different people, because we all sort of have different masks depending on who we're talking to, and different ways to display ourselves to people. And so it could be that maybe people are noticing that, in the sense of like, you show off a different face to people at work versus family versus friends, or versus different groups of friends. And maybe people are seeing that, and they're kind of, maybe they're a little bit confused as to why it seems so different. But for the most part, I see you as being so steady that like, I feel like you almost don't feel the need to change that much or be different for different people. So it could just be that, again, maybe they're trying to throw on their own insecurities. Maybe they do that a lot, so they're pushing that on you a little bit. Or I keep getting drawn to the word recalibrate. So maybe when you're recalibrating something, you're balancing something out. So maybe they see you as somebody who is so balanced, and who, no matter what rocks you, you kind of are able to come back to this like equilibrium within yourself, where you're able to maintain, again, the security, this control, this dominant personality kind of thing. That's the vibes that I'm getting from those two. And then I'm going to pull a couple of tiles, and the first word that I think of when I see the letter on it is what I'm going to go with. So we've got 3 for you, group number 3. The first one we have is E. So the very first thing I thought of when I saw this was the word everything. I actually got this on another group, so that's probably why I got pulled so intensely to that word. But what I mean by everything is it could be that someone really thinks that you have it all, that you have everything and you are everything. It could be something as cute as like you are everything to this person. Or another E that came to me that we spoke on before is envious. So again, I'm getting that pull, that vibe that someone could be very envious of your lifestyle, and they are, they're just pushing on a little bit too much of their lives onto you, and that's not anything that you need to worry about. That is something that they have to work through. Next one we have A. So with this one, I am feeling, I don't know why this was the first word that came to mind, but the first word was accomplice. So I'm getting this feeling that like maybe you work really, really closely with another person. Accomplice also to me was very close to the word like accomplished. So it could be that they see you as someone who very much is able to get the job done and everything. But yeah, accomplice came out first though. So I'm really thinking that the people that feel this about you are people that work really close with you. Either a partner feels this way about you, or people who can kind of see into your life a little bit more. And then last we have H. So with H, the first thing that came to my mind was hearty and healthy. So they see you as someone who is, maybe this is like coming out because I always think of like hearty as such an earth sign like vibe. It's like somebody that has a lot like hearty and healthy, like earth is the vibe that I'm feeling to like grow things. So someone who is maybe, even if you aren't physically hardy, you could be maybe very mentally strong. And then healthy in general is perhaps you are so good at being structured that maybe you are the type of person that has a very strict like either workout routine or diet. And so they see you as someone who's very, very good at staying in control of these things and really putting your health first. And then lastly, I'm going to roll this astro dice for any zodiac signs that could be people in your life that are thinking these things about you. So the top 3 strongest signs. So this could be their sun, moon, or rising. The very first one we have coming out is Libra. Next we have Aries. And then lastly, we have Capricorn coming out again. So this could be someone who is a fellow Capricorn, or maybe this is just indicating Capricorn once more that we're seeing here. So anyway, I hope that you guys liked this reading or it resonated with you. If it did, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Tarot Pick a Card readings in the future and for you guys to join the Crow Coven. And what I wanted to leave you off with to recap is that you give this very determined, ambitious, and very like having a lot of integrity to yourself that other people can see it. Very strong earth sign energy during this reading. We see here in the crown that you are just a very elevated person. You control and manage this higher frequency. And overall, people feel very protected and safe when it comes to you. You have this honesty about you and this strength, again, H, honesty. You have this honesty about you that other people can see, and they do feel very safe because they know that you would tell them how it is if it came down to it. You have this dominant, stable personality. Maybe perhaps this is someone in your life who is kind of having a little bit of nostalgia, or they feel like you give off this air of innocence. But overall, you are somebody that just has a lot of security, a lot of control, and the ability to really allow people around you to feel stable. In judgment here, we got that you do work at such a higher frequency that you follow your inner voice and you're going for your true calling, and people can see that about you. But there is possibly some level of jealousy that is showing up in your life. Someone is envious of you, or they believe that you are someone who is maybe a little bit dishonest for some reason, or that you have this like unfairness about you, or this lack of accountability. However, I am seeing this as someone projecting it onto you. And again, if this is an opinion of somebody, you can't really control that. You just have to let them believe what they're going to believe, because they are not going to change their minds unless they truly want to. The other thing I want to point out as I'm recapping this is that we did roll Libra, and Libra is the zodiac sign for justice. So it could possibly be that there is some Libra, sun, moon, or rising in your life who's feeling this way about you. But overall, people see you as someone who's very productive. You're a busy bee who goes about your day and you worry about your own things. I think that you may be somebody who either wants to own your own job or like business, or you are taking steps toward that. And overall, you feel very satisfied with your life, or people perceive you as being very satisfied at the end of the day. Just know that you need to stay true to yourself, keep yourself balanced, and go your own path, and you will find the right people who are there to celebrate you instead of trying to place this negativity on you. So again, if you liked this reading, let me know with a comment on if you feel that this is close to you, or if you believe that there may be somebody who is a little bit envious of how in control and how much you have accomplished so far in your life. Thank you guys so much for getting this far in your reading, and I will see you guys in our next video. Hello, group number 4, and welcome to your reading all about how it is that other people perceive you. So thank you guys so much for watching this video and joining me today. I hope you had a great week. We're going to get started by looking at this sunstone that we chose that is going to be representing you. So sunstone has this very youthful and just joyful energy about it. So I believe that other people see you as someone who is very optimistic and very happy on a general basis. I also see this stone as one that truthfully can help other people when they're going through rough patches. So if you are going through a dark time in your life, you want sunstone around you because it can really help alleviate a lot of those dark thoughts and moods. So I believe that people go to you when they are not having as great of a time in their lives, because you are able to see this light and beauty in life around you, and you're able to give them that sense of calm and that sense of structure that they're looking for. If you are somebody who is very overall positive, you kind of radiate that positivity towards other people, and they feel very attracted to it. I'm kind of getting the symbolism of a moth being drawn to a flame, because it is just so bright and beautiful. So people can't help being attracted to, because you have this this loving, innocent, and just really bright personality. So the first thing I would like to do is I would like to pull one of these cards. I've split this deck into 3 different groups, and this first one is dealing with zodiac signs. So this could be your sun, moon, or rising sign. It's the one that people like see you most as. Or it could simply be some traits that you have that are displayed most prominently toward people who perceive you. So I'm going to pull this card here, and we have Leo coming out. So with Leo, you have, again, we're seeing that very bright personality. With Leo being a fire sign, we're seeing this passionate, courageous kind of person, someone who generally is very positive and just sees the sunny side of life. We see on Leo, it says creative, vibrant, and leader. So you are someone who is very creative when it comes to your passions. You love being able to share your creativity with other people, or you just have a creative mind in the sense where if somebody has a problem and they're not sure how to resolve it, you come up with creative solutions on how to help them, kind of like we saw in Sunstone, that you very much are able to weave about this positive, bright change that they notice. We also have vibrant on here, so you are not somebody who is afraid to shy away from displaying who you truly are. You live with this sense of integrity, and you very much are not afraid to, like, if you are somebody who likes to wear really like out there clothes or like makeup styles or something, you really are not afraid to show who you are to other people. Or if you just have what people like to say is a loud personality, if you're somebody who's just outwardly very loud, that can be something that people know you as well. Because we're also seeing leaders. So you are kind of the ringleader of it all. You're the person that people go to with ideas because they know that you would know how to take the best steps, the best course of action in order to put things into place. So you overall have this kind of like almost trendsetter kind of vibe about you. In this next group, let's see how it is that other people see group number 4. What traits do they have? Ooh, let's pull this first one. I have pulled this one for almost every group now, I think, except for one. So there is a lot of really like high energy with these readings currently. In Crown, we have connected and elevated. So people around you see you as someone who is very connected with other people. Either you have a very large group of friends, or people see you as having a large group of friends. They see you with multiple people, or you're able to connect with people easily. Even if you don't think that you're someone who can connect with other people easily, perhaps it's something more in the sense of you tend to know where to point people in the right direction. So say someone comes to you with a problem, you're able to be like, go talk to this person, or I have a guy who knows how to do that, and you're able to kind of direct them in the right way. So you're very good at networking and figuring out how to get plans pushed through. Also with elevated, as I mentioned in the other groups, people work on different frequencies. So there's people who have just lower vibrations, lower frequencies, and then those of us who have higher frequencies. And so I see you as someone who is very elevated, who does have a higher frequency that you work at. Elevated could also mean, especially I'm getting this from your reading in particular, is that perhaps you are someone who you've put in the work and people are seeing you as either you have a like higher spot in your job, or you, especially maybe for your age, like you are somebody who is working on this higher level and people can see that from you, that you have put in a lot of work in that front. Or for some of you, I'm getting that maybe you own your own business, in the sense of like, I'm getting this really weird vibe that like perhaps you're like an artist who you have worked on your craft, and you have like, for some of you, I'm getting this feeling like you have a lot of followers, and they follow you for your creative work. This is probably just for like one or two people out there, where it just feels almost like people look up to you because you just have like, I keep getting like a lot of numbers in my head right now, which I did not get this for other groups. I got this for just specifically for you, where it almost feels like you have something close to like over 100K of something. So this could be like either Instagram, or maybe you have your own YouTube channel, or maybe you're someone who works on like TikTok or something like that, where it just feels like you have a lot of eyes on you, and it almost feels like a sudden thing, like something suddenly happened. So I don't know, that was a very strange tangent that I just went on, but I did not feel that for anybody else. So I really think though that for some of you, either if you haven't reached that, you may be thinking on going on a journey, and you are gonna see a lot of progress. You're gonna see followers coming in quickly. So if that's something you've been interested in, maybe look into that. Because I think that if you have any social media interest or any influencer interest, I might be getting a message that's trying to push you a little bit towards that. Because maybe other people see this genuine spark, and they see this creative outlet that you have, and they almost are like, man, this person would be such a good role model. They would be so good in their craft if only they took that step. That's a very odd message. I'm sorry, I went off on a tangent. Let's continue forward. So what are other traits that people see from group 4? Lastly, we have this watermelon tourmaline, which says heart healing. So we kind of mentioned this a little bit in the sunstone already, where you have this ability to help people. Where if they are hurting from something, you're able to listen to them and guide them in the right direction. You're able to lift their mood simply because you are so positive, and you overall give off this really like healing vibe to people. So it's something that just comes across as so genuine, and it's to the point where even if this is just surface level, this is something that people see as a very like attractive quality, and they want to be around it more. And they just feel so safe and secure in you because they feel like you are somebody that would not go around telling other people their business. So they just feel really like, again, really secure and just really happy being able to share things with you. So these 3 cards just fell out. So I am going to take those 3. I'd like to go with just a couple more messages for group 4. Can I get 2 more? Yes, I will take these. Okay. So the first one we're seeing here is the 10 of Pentacles in the reverse position, the Page of Wands in the reverse position, the Moon, the Knight of Pentacles, and lastly, the King of Wands. Okay, I'm going to shift these. Sorry if it looks wild on the camera right now. Okay, so it was funny because these first 3 really fell out at the same exact time. So I'm kind of getting that these ones are all going together. In the 10 of Pentacles in the reverse position, this can indicate either some sort of financial loss or loss in general, or a sense of loneliness. And so it could be something that has either hit you kind of recently, or maybe is something that you're afraid of. and you're afraid of being lonely. So perhaps you surround yourself by a lot of people, but you're almost overcompensating. So sometimes people can see you as being someone who is very lonely or is afraid of being lonely. So they can kind of tell, like, say you're somebody who, like, you constantly make plans, like you reach out to people being like, oh, like, do you know any parties that's going on, or like, can I come over and hang out? And you're always trying to be involved, so other people are kind of seeing you constantly keeping yourself busy, specifically because of fear, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. So this might not be like what you feel at all, but this is how other people are seeing you. And I'll tell you why in just a second. Next, we have the Page of Wands in the reverse position. And this card has, it kind of gives the vibes of like having like a lack of direction. So you're not quite sure where to go. You may be so, like, have such a creative mind that you're like, I want to do these 10 ideas. And so you're spread across these different things and you don't want to pick the wrong idea. And because of that, you can't really get your foot in the door when it comes to putting yourself out there because you just aren't sure what to pick. It can also be that you have like if you have a new idea, you have a hard time putting it into play. Again, because maybe you get attracted to something else. You have like shiny syndrome where you're like, you start working on one thing and then you look over there and you're like, oh, but that cool thing over there, I want to start doing that. And you kind of jump ship from your previous idea to pursue this new thing. And this might not be what you do, but it might be how other people see you. They see you as if you can't stick to one thing because you are so connected. You want to do all these different things. And the reason why I was saying that this could be a fearful thing is because we also pulled the moon with these cards, and the moon is all about having fear and anxiety eating away at us, and having this the sense of worry when it comes to things. So the fact that it came out with these two cards in particular makes me feel like other people can see that you are either overcompensating, so you are trying to put yourself out there with a whole bunch of different people and doing a whole bunch of different things. Other people can see that you are having a hard time when it comes to maybe dealing with a loss. Perhaps you lost a job or a family member or something, and so other people can tell that you're having a hard time, but I'm getting this feeling like you're keeping yourself distracted. Like something happened, and instead of digging down and dealing with that grief of whatever happened, you're trying to cover it up by staying super positive and rushing here and there instead of pausing to think about your emotions. Because we're seeing here that there is no cups. There's no card dealing with emotions that are showing here. We're dealing with very practical things and very like fiery things instead of dealing with the deeper emotional side of things, if that makes sense. Which is funny because the moon is a card that tends to kind of like, it doesn't quite deal with emotions in the level of like you looking at your emotions, but again, it's kind of like trying to cover them up because there's a feeling of insecurity or afraid of your subconscious, afraid of the subconscious mind. And maybe other people can kind of see that, is what I'm getting. This card can also deal with illusions. So it could be that people may think that you're trying to hide something. They might think that you're trying to hide this by being this, by being so positive and strong. I'm getting the feeling like some people may think that you lean too far on like the toxic positivity like side of things, which if you don't know what that is, it's essentially somebody who truly thinks that there's nothing beyond surface level happiness. And I'm trying to say this in a way that like won't offend you. If you are somebody that likes to focus on the good in life, which we all like, we understand that yes, life is very hard and there's a lot of scary things out there, but you can't just only take in the good. There needs to be a balance in all things. So you need to be able to look critically at your emotions and how you realistically feel about things. And you have to realize that other people go through things differently. And so they may see you as somebody who only ever wants to be positive. So if they show any sort of negative emotion and you get a weird way toward them, then they're scared to come to you and they're afraid like, oh, am I not allowed to like open up to them because they don't ever want to see me cry or like when I have to deal with something hard. So just know how you can make other people feel if you are like, nah, I don't want to talk about that, or like you're constantly being like everything's peachy keen and perfect kind of thing. Other people might be like, well, they seem like they're always happy and they never go through anything, like I feel weird going to them about this. But this may be a very small percentage because, again, how we talked about earlier in this watermelon tourmaline, I get this feeling like you're somebody that is a bit more empathetic and you do like to listen to people and kind of be that stability for them. Perhaps you really are just someone who has a lot of positivity, or you don't like to focus on the negative because you believe that there needs to be more kindness and happiness in the world, which is great. Like obviously we do want more of that brightness. But I think that maybe sometimes people see you as almost this unobtainable level of happiness. And that makes them nervous and it makes them feel like it's fake kind of thing. So again, this is just opinions from a person and you don't have control over how they see you. And I've mentioned this in all of the other groups, so I want to mention it here as well, is when it comes to opinions, everyone is going to have it about everything. So even you as a viewer, you just listening to this video and hearing what I have to say so far, and maybe even tidbits of information that I've given in other readings you've seen, you can form an opinion that is completely different to who I actually am in real life. But because you don't truly know me and no one can ever really truly know you, you're going to have an opinion of me that I can't change. And I just have to be okay with that because I can't control how it is that people perceive me. And that's the same thing for you, is you can't control how people see you. You can kind of try to get to a point where you're more conscious of how you say things in case this is something that could currently be happening. But you can't really change how they feel about you unless they want to change how they feel about you. So the most you can do is really be yourself and just allow things to play out as they do. Don't feel so stressed and like, oh, people are going to think that I'm fake or that I'm hiding something from them or I'm a bad person or I'm afraid of being alone or things like that. You can't really change that unless someone is coming to you and telling you like, I've noticed this. Then you can kind of try to reassure them and help them understand how you operate in your life. And really that's my little like my little soapbox moment here is that don't feel so stressed about how people may see your life. I'm also once again being drawn to that like influencer thing, because a lot of times it's kind of a stereotype that influencers only ever show the good things that are happening in their life, the things that are like almost like flexing and stuff where it's like, wow, everything's amazing for me. I always have all the best things. And so people don't see that the negative quality. So they might immediately think, oh, this person is maybe actually really lonely, or they're an attention seeker, or whatever else that they might be thinking. So you can't worry about that because only you know your level of happiness. As long as you are being genuine, hopefully that comes across and you are going to attract the right people to you. So let's go further in your reading. I went off on a tangent again. We have the Knight of Pentacles here. And in this card, this is really about somebody who has the ability to have this really like intense routine. You're very much a methodical person who works in being able to, I'm seeing like you plan things out and you're able to follow that plan. Almost like you sit down and you either have a planner or you have like a day-to-day calendar that you work on in order to get things done. So you really plan out your day heavily, or at the very least your week. So you aren't afraid to implement things that help you along this path. They also see you as someone who is very like efficient. So you aren't dawdling. You aren't wasting a lot of time doing extra things that you know aren't going to help you. You very much are like, no, I feel like doing this, this, and this today, and you manage to get them all done in a quick amount of time, but with quality. This card can also deal with conservatism. So it could be that somebody believes that you are someone who doesn't need a lot in your life. Like you don't need to have the flashiest things, or you're somebody who doesn't, you're still vibrant and you're still very much yourself, but it may be in a way that is just a little bit more like humble. You don't need to wear flashy things, or again, you don't need to flex these things because you're just very in control of how you want to feel and how you want to present yourself. So you don't have to do things that are, I'm seeing this almost as like, you don't need to do things that are out of your comfort zone. Again, I feel like I mentioned that somewhere where it's like you don't need to do things that you don't want to do because you just simply feel like you're the trendsetter, you're the leader. So you don't feel pressure from other people in order to be seen a different way, which is great. And then lastly, we have the King of Wands here. And in this card, we are seeing, again, this leader. This card is about being a natural born leader, about being an entrepreneur, about having a vision on how to get things done. So I'm honestly trying to let you know, if you aren't already like an influencer for some reason, like if you have like an art like Instagram, or you're a lifestyle blogger or something like that, if you don't already have that presence online, I keep getting little hints that you need to be doing that, or that is calling to you. So I'm really interested in what this means, because we keep seeing this. We saw it in the leader here with Leo, and being connected to so many people, in the fact that like a lot of eyes are on you kind of thing. And then once more, us pulling out this King of Wands is really showing that you are someone who needs to be doing your own thing. You need to be setting your own schedule. You need to be setting your own, like doing your own content. So if you have had that interest, but you're too afraid to like go out there and do it, I really think that this is trying to call to you to let you know that is a step that you need to take. So that's an extra little message. This was not supposed to be a like, what is your next big thing or anything reading. This is supposed to be how people perceive you. So that's just another extra little thing I think that would be helpful, because I think that people see you as being this leader and they see you as being somebody who really could get a lot done and make a change, or at least build a community where you are the forefront of that community. Let's get some more messages for group 4. What messages do we have? The first one we have coming out is the Martin and Foxglove, and it says mischief on here. So with this card, I am seeing this almost as maybe you have this like mischievous personality where like you maybe like to be the life of the party, you kind of like to pull like pranks, or you like to just be like really silly, and other people like see that from you, is that you kind of have this almost this like cheeky like personality kind of thing, and people do find it funny. There are going to be some people that see this mischief card and they're immediately going to think of the negatives, like, oh, somebody thinks that I'm like trying to get away with something. And it could be that there's somebody in your life that does think this about you. So just be careful about who you do have in your life. Because if you aren't being mischievous in a way that's trying to hurt other people, it really should not matter if you are a silly person or if you're somebody that likes to pull little like harmless pranks and whatnot. So just keep that in mind. Then the next one we have is the Rooster and Sunflower, and on here it has communication. So you are somebody who, like, people perceive you as someone who likes to communicate. You like to have a lot going on. You like to be involved in a lot of like different group chats. You like to express your opinions. So kind of like how I mentioned before with the social media thing, is you like to have your opinions, you like to put them out there, and people recognize you for this. I'm really getting that like a lot of you do TikTok, or like you have like a following on TikTok kind of thing. I don't know why that keeps coming to me, but like it's like you have this presence where you are interacting back and forth with people, is the vibe that I'm getting. And then time for a last message. Also, if you aren't doing that, make sure you start on it. Last message for group 4 and how people perceive them. Ooh, interesting. So this is ask yourself, who am I being today? Now recalibrate. And why I like thought how interesting in this one is because I actually pulled this exact card for group number 3, and you guys kind of have some similar vibes here and there. Like you're very much living your lives as you, and you're not afraid to show that. It's kind of in different ways, but if you were attracted to group 3 at all, maybe head there after this reading to see if there are any more messages that you can gather. But with this, how I took it with group 3 was, it could be that you are sharing yourself in a way where you have different masks that you filter through depending on who you're talking to, because we all do. And it could be that people are noticing that. So they're seeing like, they act a different way in real life than they do online. Or they act a different way with family or their workplace or whatever. And it's kind of weird to them because they don't recognize that they do that in themselves, but they can see that you're doing that. So again, this really gives me that like influencer vibe where it's like you're different in real life as to how you are when you portray yourself online. But it's almost like coming from a place of like jealousy in this moment, because we all have different masks and personas that we use with different people. And when it comes to online in particular, you have to almost distance yourself from it, because you can't, uh, you need to be genuine and you need to put yourself out there, but you can't put yourself out there so much that people can use things against you. So I'm getting this feeling like somebody may be like, what is going on? Like, why do they seem so different? So if you're somebody who is trying to pursue this influencer thing, just be careful that you're actually being genuine to who you are. Don't try to have this like everything's hunky dory and I'm super like positive and happy all the time, if that's not actually how you feel. Because if you go down that route, you're going to burn yourself out. You're going to get caught in a lie. You're going to end up hurt at the end of the day, because something is going to come to light that's going to reveal itself to other people. So try to just be as genuinely you as you possibly can, but also know that you don't need to reveal everything. It's not considered a lie if you have to do something to protect yourself. I hope that resonates with you guys, because that's really the feeling that I'm getting. The other bit that I pulled from group 3 was the recalibrate. My eye kept being drawn to that. And when I saw recalibrate, I thought of how maybe people see you as just being so uniquely yourself because you seem to never falter. Like, something could happen to you and you're just able to go back to your normal go-to mode. So even if something happened that made you really sad, you're just like able to be still super positive or seem in control of your life, because that's just who you are intrinsically are. And again, we don't want to cover it up with like toxic positivity or anything. We want to make sure that we are allowing ourselves to feel grief if we are going through grief or anything of that matter. So just make sure that you aren't lying to yourself. I'm seeing it as other people are questioning how you are. So as long as you actually are like that, there's nothing wrong. Just give yourself the chance to feel your emotions fully. And then lastly, I am going to pull a few tiles to kind of see if there are any other messages. The first letters, or the first words that come to my mind when I see these letters, are going to be what I see for you. So the first one we have is L. I immediately thought of love, but with love, I also felt loneliness. So once again, you are giving this feeling of being a very loving and forward and helpful person, but deep down, you do give off this sense of maybe you're pushing yourself really hard because you are secretly lonely and you want attention from other people. With the L also, we see it here with Leo and the lion. So again, you could very much have Leo placements that are kind of trying to help guide you. Tap into Leo with that vibrant nature, that leader, the communication, the courage, the confidence kind of thing, and know that you will be able to draw people toward you so you aren't feeling that loneliness anymore, you're feeling loved. Next we have T. I, for some reason, immediately thought of tiger, and it's maybe because I saw lion, and so then I thought lion and then I thought tiger, but it's once again another of these big cats that they're ferocious in a way that is just so natural to them. So I'm seeing it as people see you as someone who is very like, you're just able to go out there and be you and do your things. Another thing with tiger too, with having the very distinct markings, is someone sees you and they inherently know it's you. So even if you're somebody that isn't super flashy, maybe you have this very distinct style that people, when they see it, they immediately know it's you. So I'm seeing this as clothing and also as like an art style. So for some of you, it's the things that you wear. Whenever people see something, they're like, oh, I always think of this person because of this. And then also for other people, with it being an art style, is like when people see your style, it's like something that they haven't seen before. And so they're very much like, ooh, yeah, I know immediately that that is this person. So those are the two major feelings that I got. With W, with this coming out, I immediately thought of this watermelon tourmaline again with the heart healing vibes, that W being watermelon. I'm seeing it as, once again, this reiteration of people in your life see you as someone who is very healing, as someone that they can go to and express themselves, and you give off this calming energy. With W as well, I'm seeing water. So I'm seeing this feeling of, if there's like this rockiness going on, if there's like turbulent seas, you can calm it down. So I really think that you have just this gentle, maybe not even gentle energy is the right word, but you have this way of turning things into this sense of calmness for people in your life. Lastly, I'm going to roll this astro dice here for any last zodiac signs, and this is going to be indicative of the signs in your life who could be thinking this about you. So it could be their sun, moon, or rising. The first one we have coming out is Leo, so it could be a fellow Leo, or this could just be once more reiterating here that yes, you're very Leo forward. It could be someone else, though, that's really feeling this way about you. Maybe they're projecting things onto you and they're a Leo. We have Scorpio coming out. And then lastly, we have Cancer. So everyone, I hope you liked this reading. If you liked it or it resonated with you, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more Tarot Pick a Card readings in the future, and also to join the Crow Coven. And if you liked this reading, let me know in the comments if you are currently going through this similar situation here. Specifically, if you are someone who either has a following, you don't have to tell me where. You don't have to, if you don't want to reveal it, you don't have to be like, yes, you can find me here and all my things, if you don't want to out yourself in that way. But if you're somebody who has a bigger following, let me know if that really resonated with you, or also if you are somebody who has always been interested in social media, trying to put yourself out there as like a brand or something, and this is really calling to you, please let me know, because I would love to hear if that resonated with anybody, because that was just such an interesting thing in your reading. So to recap, group number 4, you have this very creative energy, this vibrancy about you, and these very intense leadership qualities that people see you as being very connected. You have this big networking group, and you work on a higher frequency level. You're very elevated in the sense that you know what you want, you know how to get it, and people see you as almost being a role model. And with that, you have this ability to really heal people when it comes to matters dealing with emotions. If they have issues, they know that you are a positive and safe person to go to help quell their fears. But there is a possibility that people are perceiving you in a way where you almost feel like you have some loneliness about you, or you are afraid of losing something. You're afraid of being perceived as someone who doesn't have like everything that you actually have in your life, because we were seeing in the moon this like lack of these anxieties of being fearful and being afraid, just in general, of not having this brightness and positivity that you actually are seeing. And also we saw in this card here that there is this possibility of you having fear of not having the right direction that you want to go down, or having setbacks to these ideas that you have. The moon also can indicate this illusion. So it could be that people are seeing you as one thing, but you're actually acting a different way. And so there are people in your life who are nervous and confused about why there's this difference in you. But for the most part, you are seen as somebody who has routine. You're very methodical and efficient. You know what to do and how to do it, and you are plodding down this path. You're somebody that has and sticks to a schedule. And at the end of the day, you are somebody who is a natural born leader. You are going to be able to go out there and share your vision, and you're going to be able to do it with honor, and other people are going to be attracted to it, and that's going to lead to you being your own boss. People see you as having a mischievous or like pranky kind of like side of your life. Maybe you are someone who's a little bit silly and you're not afraid of showing it. Alternatively, somebody could be seeing you as being mischievous. So you just want to be careful about how you present yourself to certain people. But you're also seen as someone who loves to communicate. You very much speak your mind, and you love having a lot of people to chat with. And also at the end, just be careful of not being disingenuous. Be true to yourself, and you're going to attract the right people, and you're not going to have to be afraid. You're not going to be afraid of what it is that other people think about you, because you are being true to yourself, and their opinion of you at the end of the day truly doesn't matter as long as you are being truthful to yourself. So again, thank you guys so much for getting this far in your reading, and I will see you guys in the next video.